Welcome back to The Bible is Art, where we're in a series on a Christian guide to beauty and design. In the last video, we were looking at how beauty is objective, a feature of things, and not subjective like our preference for a certain kind of ice cream. In this video, we're going to look at what makes something beautiful, or more precisely, the ground of beauty. While this might seem to be a difficult question, it's actually quite simple, because it's the same structure as the question of every other good property like justice or lovingness. Something is just, loving, and beautiful if it reflects God and His justice, love, and beauty. God is eternal, the creator and source of all life and everything. And when God created the world, none of the diffuse variety of things surprised Him. Every emotion and action, every property and relation was always already within Him. There was no novelty. It's not as if He decided to create beauty or justice. No, the beauty of a sunset was always already a beauty that was in God. So when He created the world, it reflects, is an image of His character and nature. Everything is grounded in Him. So something is just if it reflects His justice. Something is love if it reflects His lovingness. And something is beautiful if it reflects His beauty. So all things find their ontological explanation in Him, the originator and source of all goods. Now, you may be thinking, okay, but this certainly doesn't fully answer our question about what makes something beautiful, and that's true. When we say that something is just because God is just and it mirrors God's justice, we're saying that there are a set of properties, attributes that together constitute justice, and those properties are first properties in God. And the same is true of beauty. There are a collection of properties, of attributes in God that together constitute beauty. Now, this might sound a bit weird, but it's actually the normal, common sense understanding of things. For instance, when I say that Sally is kind, I mean a couple of properties put together. Something like she has a good, positive disposition towards people. 2, that her speech is graceful and gentle. 3, that she is generous and patient with her attention, and so on, whatever those properties would be. Those properties constitute her kindness. So saying that something is beautiful because it reflects God's beauty does not provide us with the properties of beauty, but it provides us with a path to understanding it, to answering it, of finding those properties. That is, if we want to know what makes something beautiful, we must look at God's beauty. But here we run into a problem. Because God has not revealed or explained every aspect of His character and world. For instance, while economics and physics have their explanation in God, we can't go to the scriptures for a detailed explanation of how this is the case. Scripture doesn't give us physics. We can't look at God and discover the structure or purpose of plutonium or supply and demand curves. And there's two reasons why God has not explained everything about Himself and reality, at least 2. First, God chose to reveal foundational, central, presuppositional things, not all things. The Bible, the primary way we know about God, is about central, foundational realities. That is, when God chose to reveal Himself and things about the world, there's an infinite number of things He could have revealed, but He selected only some. And the things that He chose to reveal were the most important, central things, the things that you need to know to understand everything else, those other things. Things like who he is and how he acts, and who we are and how we are to act, theology and ethics. Now, this is not because the other things, physics, chemistry, paleontology, sports, are unimportant, but because they are of secondary importance, and because God likes adventure and discovery. Let me explain. You see, God created a whole world for discovery and work. Proverbs 25:2 says that it's the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings to search things out. So one of the particularly beautiful, glorious things about God is that he likes to hide things. But not so that they wouldn't be discovered, but that we would work and become wise in the process of discovering them. And that brings us to the second reason why God chose to reveal primary, central things. Second, God created man to work, both physically and intellectually. Well, what is that work like? Well, in Genesis 1, God works by separating and combining the world and parts of the world together to make it better each day, and then creates us to do the same thing, that same work. So we are to separate and combine parts and parcels of the created order, making them better, unfolding latent potencies, bringing creation to fruition so that the garden might become a city, Revelation 21. So all of the weird and wonderful things about the world, from quarks to quasars, things that you would only know if you hunted them out, were hidden there by God. And one of the fascinating things about the world is that everything is not on the surface, something that we will talk much more about later when we discuss one of the properties of beauty, layers. But the purpose of all of this is that God would reveal central things, and we would use those things about God and ourselves, to uncover, to work out of the world the hidden things like physics, economics, the nature of bumblebees, bosons, and beauty. Those central things give us the presuppositions and make us the kinds of people who can hunt out hidden things. So God is the ultimate foundation, the ontological explanation for all things, including beauty. But the nature of beauty is one of those things like chemistry that God did not fully reveal, but hid for us to discover. And having been formed by the scriptures and the Spirit, those central things, we can use the four main tools for explaining the nature of beauty: scripture, creation, reason, and history or tradition. That is, we can find out some things about beauty from the Bible, but having been formed by the Bible, we must do the work of looking at creation, what people have thought about the nature of beauty throughout history, and reason through it ourselves. And after that, if we have reasoned correctly and discovered the nature of beauty, we can explain how each aspect of beauty is an exposition of God Himself. In our next video, we will begin to look at those properties, the attributes of beauty itself. Thank you so much for watching the video this week. I really do appreciate it, as always. If you would like to support the channel, that would be lovely. You can do so at patreon.com/thebibleisart. If you have any questions, leave them below. I would love to hear them. You can get a hold of me at thisdivineart@gmail.com. Thank you so much. I'll see you later.